Hi, this is Joe again with another video. For the sake of this video, I'm going to do another TV series review. I just did one for Matlock. Now I'm doing another TV series that got screwed by NBC, and that's the 1988 series called In the Heat of the Night. Starring Carol O'Connor as Bill Gillespie, Harold Rollins as Virgil Tibbs, and you also have Alan Autry as Bubba. And you have a whole other bunch of characters, actors who pretty much throughout the entire series of the show. Because you have very little changes in the show to the casting. But I'm going to get into that in a minute, because there was a big casting change towards the end of the series. Excuse me. Something in my eye. So, of course, for those of you who don't know, In the Heat of the Night television series, which lasted 7 years, I think 6 years on NBC and at least 1 year on CBS. Because of NBC was drawing in too many older viewers, so they got rid of In the Heat of the Night, just like they did with Unsolved Mysteries and Matlock. If you want to see more of it, watch my Matlock review, and I go into a little more details there. Well, In the Heat of the Night television series is based on the Oscar-winning 1967 movie of the same name. Please check out my review of In the Heat of the Night, and I did a review on that movie, and a bunch of other Oscar-winning films as well. Well, In the Heat of the Night takes place 20 years. Well, technically, I think it was actually 21 years after the original movie, and they reunited Virgil Tibbs and Bill Gillespie. Now, Virgil Tibbs, like I mentioned, was played by Harold Rollins, and Carol O'Connor played Bill Gillespie. Of course, this was the first television series for Carol O'Connor since the end of Archie Bunker's Place, which I think was 5 or 6 years earlier, because Archie Bunker ran its run through, his character Archie, but he played that character for about 13 seasons, 9 years for All in the Family, and of course 4 years for Archie Bunker's Place. So that character ran its course. And Archie Bunker's Place got canceled by CBS after 4 seasons, and so I was looking for another series to do, and he got picked to play Bill Gillespie in the Heat of the Night. Of course, Bill Gillespie is supposed to be like this bigoted, racist character. So of course, once again, Carol O'Connor plays a bigoted character. But in case if what happened with him on the Family, Carol O'Connor eventually got a little bit more control of the television series In the Heat of the Night than he did with Archie Bunker on the Family, because he was constantly fighting with Norman Lear. This time, Norman Lear had nothing to do with In the Heat of the Night. But eventually, after the first year or two, Carol O'Connor got more control of the series, and of course, his character was not as bigoted or as racist as Archie Bunker was. Now, of course, if you watch all 13 seasons of when Archie Bunker was on television, the 9 years with All in the Family and the 4 years with Archie Bunker's Place, you see, even in Archie Bunker's Place, he would say some stupid bigoted things or racist things, but it's not as much as he did during the first couple of seasons, because Carol O'Connor got a little more control of the series and a little more control of the character, and he mellowed the character out. Same thing he did with In the Heat of the Night. His character in the first few episodes, at least the first year or two, was a little bit more bigoted, trying to do his own take on the character of Bill Gillespie. Because Rod Steiger played the character in the movie, and of course he was an out-and-out bigot, an out-and-out racist character in the movie, at least Rod Steiger was. Carol O'Connor, on his take on the character, was a little bit more not quite as racist, because he got typecast. Carol O'Connor did, as being labeled as America's favorite bigot, and he didn't want to get typecast like that, playing Bill Gillespie. So he kind of mellowed the character out, and not to be all and out, make any kind of racial remarks and stuff. But at first, the Bubba character was played by Alan Autry, who was kind of related to Gene Autry, I might add. I don't know how they were related, but they were kind of related in some way, like a cousin or nephews, or like twice removed, whatever it was. His character at first was racist, and especially in the first like 2 hour movie, he was out and out racist at first, and then eventually he came, or his character came around as well as all the other white characters was on the show. And once in a while you do see the N-word used, but when you see the show in reruns now on MeTV, so it's reruns of He and the Night, they cut out the N-word, or they bleep out the N-word, so people won't get offended by a white character using the N-word in the television show. Well, of course, in the TV show, Harold Rollins, who plays Virgil Tibbs, he's married to Anne Marie Johnson, who is fresh off doing the reboot of What's Happening, called What's Happening Now, and so she played Virgil's wife, and I thought she did a damn good job in it, because she went to doing a comedy series to doing a drama series. And there's one episode in particular that was I feel was one of the best episodes of the series. Was the third season premiere of Rape. It was called Rape. The title of the episode, because there was no continuality and discontinued storyline, because Bill Gillespie was kidnapped, and the reason why they rolled him out that way is because he had to have Carol O'Connor had to have major heart surgery, so they rolled him out as having his heart, being kidnapped. So the excuse so he could have some time off from filming this television show, they have his heart surgery. But then when the series came back for the third season, that they instead of continuing the storyline of him being kidnapped and how they got the character back, which they eventually did in the second and third episodes of season 3, they started off with the fresh episodes. They kind of forgot that storyline for a minute and added an episode called Rape, where Virgil Tibbs' wife, Althea Tibbs, got raped by a fellow co-worker in the school, because she's supposed to be the school counselor at the sport in the high school, and another teacher, the music teacher, rapes her, and it's a pretty verbal scene, at least a very vicious scene to watch on television, and I mean, they're trying to show the rape, but trying to show as much as they can on a network television show. I mean, this is not like HBO or Showtime, when they will actually show more. But since this was on regular television in the late 80s, early 90s at this point, they can't only could show so much. They show more of the aftermath than the actual physical attack. And of course, how Althea was dealing with it, how Virgil was dealing with it, and how they're trying to convict the actual rapist. And so I thought that was a pretty damn good scene. I thought she should. I don't know if she actually if Anne Marie Johnson actually won an Emmy for that particular performance, but she definitely deserved something. She definitely deserved an award for her performance in that one particular episode. And there was 2 other episodes I thought she was great good in. When her friend dies, a friend of her dies. I thought the whole episode she was reading her diary, or her friend's diary. And there was another episode where a student at the high school kills himself, and so she was upset over that, and she quits teaching, and she pretty much quits the series when the series gets moved to CBS after the intelligent decision that NBC made of casting in the He and the Night television show. Now, earlier I mentioned the fact that they're trying to loosen, Carol O'Connor is trying to erase the image of him being America's favorite bigot because he was typecast as a bigot because he was playing Archie Bunker for 13 years. So what happened was he ends up in the course of the 7th season of the He and the Night, he develops a relationship with a black city councilwoman played by I think it was Denise Nichols, who plays Harriet DeLong in the He and the Night. She plays a black city councilwoman, and she was the only black woman who was on that city council. I think there was one or two other black guys who was on the city council, but she was the only female on the black woman on the Spoiler City Council, and she develops a relationship with Bill Gillespie, and then on the very last episode of the series, they get married. You know, in the very last episode of the series. Of course, the series, as very good as the series was when it was on television, I thought it was a very, very good series. It had a lot of good episodes, had good storylines on it. But there was also pretty controversial because of the fact of that Harold Rawlins, who played, like I said earlier, played Virgil Tibbs, had a major league drug problem. At one point when the series was still on the air, he got caught wearing a woman's dress at a drug den, and he went to rehab. Actually, physically went to rehab a couple of times while the series was still on the air. So they had to write him out, or say, "Oh, he's taking an FBI course in Jackson, Mississippi," or that went to law school. And so they kept writing the character out because of all the times that he was in law school. And in the final season, he was only in like 3 episodes during the final season. And I should point this out, that because of Harold Rawlins' drug issues, they pretty much fired him. He was pretty much fired from the series, and they hired for the last season of In the Heat of the Night. As soon as they found out that another network was going to pick up the series, CBS did, picked up the series for one more season to write off the series, to give the series at least a decent send off. They hired Carl Weathers to be the new police chief in Spoiler. Of course, we know who Carl Weathers is. He played Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. He was in the movie Predator with Schwarzenegger. So he had at that time Carl Weathers had a very, very big reputation, and he came in to be the new police chief. And now when some of you are going to say, so wait a minute, isn't Bill Gillespie the police chief of Spoiler? Yes, he was. But for the 7th season, Bill Gillespie got fired by the city council because there was one member of the city council was able to convince the majority of the city council to fire Bill Gillespie because since he's been police chief, the murders have gone up, rapes have gone up, all different kinds of crimes have gone up. So we should fire him. Same thing was going on now with New York, because we're having the race for governor here in New York right now. I know that one thing has nothing to do with the other, but all the crime has gone up in New York since there's no cash bail laws in New York. So Kathy Hochul is going, oh, there's no such thing. It's all made up. But having DeLong was defending Gillespie and says, look, he's doing the best, and the police force is doing the best they can with what they got. If they received more support from the city council, they could do a better job, or they could knock down on crime and stuff. So, but the city council wouldn't have anything to do with it, and so they think it's all. And the one guy who wants Gillespie out in the worst way says, "Oh, you're saying that because you're screwing them." He didn't say it in so many words. And so, that's because you're having sex with Gillespie. You're in a relationship with him, so you're a little biased. And so, of course, you had that whole hoopla over that. So, but Gillespie got fired as police chief, and they brought in Carl Weathers to be the police chief. And of course, to keep the Gillespie character on the show, they made him, Bill Gillespie, as the interim county sheriff, the sheriff for the whole county, which Spoiler is in. Wherever county the Spoiler is supposed to be in, Gillespie became the sheriff, or the temporary sheriff, of that whole county that the city of Spoiler is in. So they had him on the show occasionally, talking to the new chief, interacting with the other actors. Of course, I should also mention that Carol O'Connor's real-life son, Hugh O'Connor, played one of the officers in in the Heat of the Night. I should also mention that he also had, unfortunately, he had his own drug problems, and he died of a drug overdose a few years after, or a couple years after the In the Heat of the Night run had ended on television. So there was Carroll O'Connor's real life son in the Heat of the Night television series. But like I said, even though the show had ended in the early to mid '90s, the show still, to me, the show is sometimes even better than the 1967 movies starring Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger. I feel the television show is better because it expands more on the characters, and focuses a lot more sometimes on the investigations of the crime of the week scenario. But I feel the show still holds up today. It's still a very good series. If you've never seen the series In the Heat of the Night, watch the series, but of course you have to watch the original movie, 1967 movie first, before you even consider watching the television show. So let me review of the TV show In the Heat of the Night. Please click on the show, please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and all on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, that's OWDY. C.com. There's a homepage to the Rally Reviewer, Christine Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.